Hey guys, Bruce D Anime here. Hope you're doing well. I am, because I get to talk Blue Lock today. This is my review for chapter 116 titled Revenger. Quick words, sorry about the mask, dental surgery. I just don't want you guys seeing a bunch of gums, so sorry about the mask, guys. I did a live reaction, so I went back and reread the chapter a few times to kind of see what impressions I get after, a few read-throughs. And initially, right off the bat, I noticed that the announcers say, Atoshi-sei is the genius. Now we get to see it. And it made me think that, and I realized as a football fan, that it would make sense that he would be so cold towards Japan's football just because a lot of the top players in the world go to, like, the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga. They go to those top leagues because they've been established for so long and they want to make the most money. And play at the highest stage, get known, renowned, contracts, things like that, all the stuff that comes along with that. And I find it interesting that he, in this chapter, right after he scores a goal, like right after the announcers make the point, all the defenders and everybody on his team, a group of people are running up to him, and he immediately is like, no, don't touch me, don't even associate with me. This match, I don't think he does not care about Blue Lock, he does not care about his brother. He is constantly setting the reminder that this match is his test to see if Japan's football is even worth his time. Because he does not think that they have the forwards necessary for him as a midfielder to play. Because he's not a striker. He scores like well, but he doesn't want to, I don't think he wants to be a striker. He wants to play make. And he just doesn't see the potential in Japan's football for his professional career. But he heard the potential of Blue Lock, the idea of what Blue Lock stands for. I don't think he necessarily cares about the program or anybody really. And besides Shido, I just think he likes the idea that something could produce a Japanese striker. And I like that he is making it a point every chapter, at least he's not softening up right now, that he's only focused on testing Japan's forwards in the under-20 team. And on that note about the under-20 forwards, poor Sendo, that's all I got to say about that. I feel for the guy. I hope he scores because he is growing on me. I do hope he scores at least one goal, and it seems like he might be revving up. We might see some action from him after a few mishaps. He might be one of those players that takes him a second to get into the flow of things, but I think he could. I think he'll score at least one goal. Another word on Atoshi-sei. It's interesting to me that he feels like the embodiment of what Ego's ideal football is. He tells IQ that he, as a midfielder, shouldn't be the one scoring. It should be what good is a striker if they can't score goals. Ego's whole motive is Japan's football fails because they're too modest to be an egoist to score. They don't have the drive, the innate nature to want to stand out and score goals. And it's interesting to me that we get introduced to Sei, and the more we find out about him, the more he embodies Ego's football. Like, he is Jinpachi Ego's ideal striker, almost. And I wonder if maybe Ego has seen Atoshi-sei, and I wonder if, that sort of inspired him, or at least that got him thinking that we're losing potential stars because of the way Japan's football is structured, which he mentions, to the owners, not the owners, but he mentions to the leaders and the cabinet of the Japan Football Association, you're wasting talent because you notice it, you foster it, then they either fail or they want to leave. He mentions that. So it's interesting to me that Sei embodies Ego's football, his ideal football at least. On that, I think Ego will be proven right by this match. I think they'll win, Blue Lock will win or tie. And that'll show, and if they tie especially, even if they lose, let's take all three scenarios, I think he'll be proven right. Because even if they lose, Atoshi-sei will still be upset. And the cabinet members, I'm just going to call him the chairman. The chairman will understand that they're losing players because they don't have forwards like Blue Lock, even if Blue Lock loses by one goal. Right? And if they tie or win, I think that'll be double. So I think the immediate reaction will be like, we need forwards like this. Sei was right. And I'm curious to see where this match goes, just especially for that point. I wonder if they'll acknowledge Ego's way of doing things, even if they lose. I'm sorry. I wonder if the chairman will acknowledge Ego's way of doing things, even if Blue Lock loses. Even if the under-20 team wins. will they acknowledge Ego's way of football. I'm really curious about it. Speaking of Ego's way of doing things, I think this match's premise and the way this chapter is written really builds on what the manga has been telling us. The story's been telling us the whole time. That, well, it may be unconventional and unrealistic that, yeah, this guy can just start like a prison school for footballers, right? But he's put them in an immediate stressful environment with taking away their national dreams of joining the national team if they fail, right? So it's just been pressure from day one. Because he mentions in this chapter that practice is just building your technical skill with no stress, and you can't replicate a match. And what Blue Lock has done is build the highest pressure environment sans a match. So if match is here, his pressure I think is right here. He wants to build a football team that can all think on their own, and I think just this whole chapter is showing us in advance that Ego will be proven right in the story, whether by just our understanding as readers or that the chairman directly saying, "All right, Ego-san, you're right. We need to have forwards on the team." I'm curious to see how that'll work out, because I'm wondering if Blue Lock wins and they replace the under-20 team, will Itoshi just leave to another national team based in the World Cup? If that's an arc. Will he stay on Blue Lock's team as the midfielder? Or will, if under-20 wins, will Itoshi say, "I'll play for Japan, but I don't know if he'd take his brother. I feel like he'd be a dick about it. He'd be like, I want that Isagi kid, I want Nagi, and I think he'd take those two, honestly. He might maybe borrow Shohei, maybe Bachira, somebody like that. Maybe any one of those forwards, I think he'll be like, I'll stay if you give me those guys. So I'm curious to see if under 20 wins is what I mean. In this chapter, we see Isagi lining up with Ren's movements, and they're starting to break the defense. And going back to that previous point I made, the thing that Ego wants is you to improvise, to think on your own and play on your own, right? And with Isagi lining up with Ren's movements, they're starting to break the defense. And my theory is what I think is going to happen is that under 20 team has a great defensive game plan. Stall the offense or counterattack, right? Once that fails, where does it leave the defense? I think Blue Lock will win this match because of the story, but also because I think it'll make sense that they broke the defense. And as time goes on, that cool factor of all the defenders, especially Aiku, will start to break, and they'll be like, wait a minute, how do we deal with all these attacks at once? How do we deal with all these players who are starting to figure us out when we don't have a contingency plan if they figure us out completely? I think that's what's going to happen, and I'm curious to see Aiku when he's stressed, right? I'm curious to see how the captain is when he's being pressed. On that moment, I just mentioned Bachira. He had a nice moment in this chapter. I'm always happy to see that. I like Bachira. No further comment, no analysis of it. He did a cool kick. I always like Bachira moments. Something I'm not happy about, and I got to be patient for, is I want a Nagi moment. I always want more Nagi moments, but I think we're going to have to wait a few chapters before he does a sick trap in front of the goal, does a bicycle kick or something crazy like we've seen him do. I'm predicting a bicycle kick. I think that's what's going to be happening. And on the ending of this chapter, I'm curious what Ego means, because he mentions that Ren, his improvisation, his growth will lead a path to victory, and I'm wondering if he's saying that Ren, while being a fantastic talent, the number one in Blue Lock, he's too by the book. He's too orthodox. Which would make sense now that I'm just realizing this. He's the complete opposite of Shido. And I think he wants Ren to kind of crack the mold and be able to freestyle not only in his own play, but with others. And I think that's what he means by the improvisation or the growth of improv with Ren, is that Ren will be able to make plays up on his own regardless of who he's playing with, on a level more than just him playing by the books football. And that comes back to that high pressure environment, right? The stressful environment. I think he wants Ren to develop the capabilities to handle stress with unfamiliar teammates, but not, I don't want to say order them around, but not get stuck in a way that says, get out of my way, more so than do this and we'll win. If that makes sense. I'm trying to, the ending was really curious to me in a good way. I'm just wondering how we'll see Ren grow. Because I don't think he's going to come all buddy-buddy, but I'm curious to see if he'll do unorthodox movements maybe, or he'll start leading assists. Maybe he'll get assists if it means winning. I'm curious. So, because they're dropping the give all the balls to Ren, at least right now. It looks like they're dropping that, the diamond formation they were talking about. So, I really like this chapter. I'm wondering... I think my analysis from it is that Ego is going to be proven right no matter which way you slice it. I think that he's going to get acknowledged. Because I think this whole manga has been building up to like his idea, or at least showcasing his idea, and I think this match is to prove that point, without a doubt, to the chairman and everything like that. So, but yeah, that's all I have for today, for the chapter. I really liked it. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Ren needs to do more improvisation? Do you like him how he is? What do you think they meant by that? What do you think Ego meant by that? How do you think the scores get? I want to know, what's the final score? Let me know that. What is the final score of the game? I think it's going to be like 10-9. I'm not even joking. I think it's going to go that route. Also, at the end of this chapter, Ren got the ball in front of the goal. Do you think he's going to score? Do you think Aiku's going to pull some, or one of the other defenders going to pull something crazy and like kick the ball out of bounds or something like that? Let me know what you think. If you like the video, guys, like, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Blue Lock content, sports manga content all around, shonen. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Later.